Okay, hi again, and welcome back to Vondran Legal Hour. Attorney Steve Vondran here, licensed to practice law in California and Arizona. We take federal, trademark, and copyright cases nationwide. Okay, so we are going to talk about a really boring topic in this episode. And this is where I put on my reading glasses, and this is where I use my domain finePrintLawyer.com, fine print lawyer. Reading the fine print on these social media apps that you and your kids are using. And we are talking in this episode about Instagram. Now, this is not legal advice. This is general legal information only. This may not be accurate. This is current as of today, January 25th, 2017, based on some policies and terms of use that I pulled down from Instagram. Okay, so I'm not an Instagram lawyer. I'm just a guy that, well, let's put it this way. I used to be a pretty big privacy advocate, and I still am, not to say I'm not. But, you know, years ago I was working at a company called Experian. You may know it's one of the big credit bureaus. And I was a privacy consultant. So my job was really to sit around, I don't say sit around, but work very hard for, 8-10 hours a day, reading up on the privacy laws, the new proposed legislation, the privacy issues, the privacy technologies, so forth and so on. So I was tracking everything. I knew everything that was going on in the world of privacy law. So, but after doing the job, at some point I realized that to a certain degree, privacy is an illusion. Not to say that you don't have it, not to say companies don't care about it, but to say that you need to closely review your privacy policies, your terms of use, before you're signing on things. Nowadays with the internet and mobile apps and everything, people are agreeing to everything. They say, hit this button, I agree. If you don't agree, don't use our program. Well, of course, everybody just hits I agree. Get me into the program. We'll figure it out later, right? And nobody, barely even me, has time to sit and read these privacy policies and see what they say, or these terms of use. So we go on to these applications, these social media websites, these portals, whatever you want to call them, and we put a lot of information in. We put our names, our addresses, sometimes our birthday, where we live, what we like, and we start sharing photos, things about ourselves. So what happens is you start basically sharing a whole lot of information about yourself, and these networks, they're not dumb. They're offering it a free service, so you're giving up a lot of information, and part of the ways they make money is through capturing this information, using it for targeted marketing, to try to personalize your web experience. So there are benefits of giving up some of your privacy to try to create a more personalized environment for yourself. So, but I think people don't realize just how all this data that is shared, there is somebody out there collecting it. And if you get 2 or 3 or 4 companies together, some giant companies in different fields, and they're sharing information, well, gee, you can figure out at some point somebody knows a whole heck of a lot about you, especially nowadays with the geolocation technology, where you can, the apps that you're using are always asking, where are you? Do you want to tell everybody where you're at? Because the minute you do, that information is going to be part of something that they capture. Where you go, where you travel. If they put all your credit card receipts together, well, what do you buy? So if some of these companies are getting together and sharing and aggregating data, well, they're building what we call these dossiers and these big, robust profiles of who you are. And some people may say, well, it's not a big deal. Who cares? I'm just a number, or, what do I care? It's a free service. And so you have people that run on the range of who cares to, hey, why are they trading in my information, and are there any dark sides to this? So we're not going to go into all that today, but that's just kind of a general background of who I am, kind of some of my background. And so I thought it would be interesting. I had somebody say that, hey, Instagram is using my photos and selling them, and can they do that? And so I had the question. I said, you know what? I'm going to put on my glasses. I'm going to pull down their current policies. Let's just take a look. So at any rate, here's what I found. If you start with the terms of use for Instagram, okay, and as we all know, Instagram is the photo sharing app. You can sort of clean up your photos, and don't forget to find me on Instagram, by the way. I try to do some funny blurbs, some funny legal blurbs, what I call legally funny, hashtag legally funny. So if you're, and I'm just starting, so, but go check it out. Friend me. It's okay. I'm friendly. I'm a friendly attorney. But you can find me at Instagram/attorney Steve, okay? At any rate, let's get that out there. But anyway, so you're sharing all this stuff. The terms of use. So you sign up. This is kind of what you're agreeing to. Now, I'm looking at the right section. On my page, on my printout, it's page 3. It may be different on yours. But here's the rights. And I'm going to read you the 1, the 2, and the 3, okay? And you just be thinking about it, okay? 1. Instagram does not claim ownership of any content that you post on or through the service. Okay, so let's repeat that. They do not claim ownership of any content. So you post a photo of yourself and your dog and your birthday cake. It sounds like that would be your content. As we know from copyright law, if you are a photographer and you take a photo, the minute that creative work is fixed in the tangible medium of expression, you have copyrights, whether you register it or not. Now, if you're going to think you're going to end up, this is going to be your prized possession in life, you may want to register it with the United States Copyright Office. Doesn't cost too much, and you can get a copyright registration. So the first section 1 is saying Instagram does not claim ownership of any content that you post on or through the service. Instead, you hereby grant, so you're granting something to Instagram, a non-exclusive, fully paid, and royalty-free, transferable, sub-licensable, worldwide license to use the content that you post on or through the service, subject to the service's privacy policy. So if you catch that, you get to continue to claim ownership, but they are getting a right to use the content. That's what it says here, at least that's how I'm reading it. I've got my glasses on, and it is coming in. Now, realize the font on this is incredibly small. As a privacy advocate, I like to see nice large font, 12, 14 point. What's the difference? It's a big, long digital policy. Who cares? I'd like to see this nice and big so somebody can read it. Especially elders. We have a lot of elders out there, and me myself, I'm getting there. So as I'm putting my glasses on, I'm realizing, hey, let's try to make the writing a little bit bigger for the elders that are out there. Okay, so that's just that's the advocate in me coming out. At any rate, so you claim ownership. They use, including but not limited to. So they're telling you that they can use it subject to the privacy policy, and I'll read that in a second. I don't think there's anything outstanding in there to protect you from any type of use, but we'll get to it in a second. So you claim ownership. They have the worldwide license to use the content, royalty-free, baby. No money to you, okay? So a lot of people get up in arms and that, like, oh my God, they're going to sell my photos and make millions. I'm like, well, if your photo's that good, you should go get your photos copyrighted and put in a portfolio, and you should be licensing out your work. But anyway, there may be times when you take an amazing photo that, maybe you don't necessarily want to see that on a cereal box or something, So at any rate, but these are the terms. You're agreeing to them when you sign up. Number 2, some of the service is supported by advertising revenue and may display advertisements and promotions. May display advertisements and promotions. And you hereby agree that Instagram may place such advertising and promotions on the service or on, about, or in conjunction with your content. The manner, mode, and extent of such advertising and promotions are subject to change without specific notice to you. So in other words, if the policy changes, it changes, and you just got to be able to go with the flow, as they say. So that's number 2. Some of the service is supported by advertising revenue and may display advertisements and promotions, and you hereby agree that Instagram may place such advertising and promotions on the service or on, about, or in conjunction with your content. So they may put ads close to your content. It may look like, some people have said, it looks like I'm endorsing the product or I'm promoting the product. That's like a right of publicity. You're using my name, image, and likeness for your cornflakes, and I don't even like your cornflakes. Why are they up with my nice pretty dog, of a picture of me and my dog, or me and my plate of lasagna? This is a plate of lasagna that I'm eating here. So, all kinds of things. But anyway, that's what it says. That's what you agree to. Get over it, as they say, or get out. Get over or get out. If you don't like it, then, you don't have to join the service. Okay? Not to say that there's a whole lot of others, because probably most apps that you go on are going to do something like this. But there you have it. Number 3, you acknowledge that we may not always identify paid services, sponsored content, or commercial communications as such. So there may not be any notice that it's a paid service, sponsored content, or commercial communications as such. Okay, so you can just think about it. That's the way it goes. This is what you're agreeing to. Now let's go over to the privacy policy. I don't want to drag this podcast on forever. I know you have better things to do, like share your friends and share your pictures and write funny things and hashtags and all that. So I don't want to keep you too long. I'm surprised you're even listening to this in the first place. But anyway, so then you go into the Instagram privacy policy. I won't bore you with too many of the details. I'll give you some general information just on privacy policies. In general, the European Union is very strong, very strict with privacy rights. In the United States, not so much, okay, but not to say that it's non-existent. Your healthcare privacy, your financial privacy, these are things that are very important. You have your Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act in financial. You have your HIPAA, healthcare, insurance portability, accountability. I forget the exact name of it. It's been a couple of years. But you have your privacy. In those two sectors, you're going to find stronger rights, in my opinion. And in the internet world, I just don't think you're going to find as strong as you may be hoping for. And in a lot of these privacy laws, there are exceptions that sometimes, as we say, swallow up the rule. So you may be dealing with that. But privacy policies, when companies have them, they should follow them. And in general, very quick overview, you should state, just like they do here, what you use, what you collect, how you use it, who you share it with, what kind of technology you're using, and what type of security. That's just a real basic, boilerplate view of what a privacy policy is. A lot of companies have them. Some companies don't have them. Some states require businesses to have them, so you need to look at your state law. What does your state law say? Okay, so anyway, this one goes on to talk about, and let's just say, let's just put it this way, you give up a lot of information when you log on to Instagram. Your photos, you may be doing hashtags, you may be doing geolocation, your name, your address, you're giving your comments, you're making comments on other people. All that stuff is data, all that stuff is digital, all that stuff is collected, harnessed, warehoused, whatever you want to call it, and use is made of that. Use is made of that, it's the best I'm going to tell you. But anyway, that's about what Instagram's policy goes on to tell you. There's lots of different information. There may be cookies placed on your computer. It says here we may use cookies and similar technologies like pixels, web beacons, and local storage to collect information about how you use Instagram and provide features to you. Remember I said they may use that to customize or personalize. This was what was known for a long time. It may still be. I don't really know, but we used to call it one-to-one personalized marketing. Okay, really personal marketing. I know you, you know me. I'm going to serve up things relevant to you, and then you're going to love me. That was kind of the concept. I don't know the state of that, but I'm sure all that, this was, years ago that I was a privacy consultant, but I'm sure that technology is really advancing. And as we used to say back then, we just have to be careful not to spook people. If people start feeling what we call data creep or spooked out, then people get nervous and they start talking on the internet about, data creep, those kinds of things. So anyway, so they may put some cookies on your computer. It says we may ask advertisers or other partners to serve ads or services to your devices, which may use cookies or similar technologies placed by us or the third party. So third party may place cookies. So they have now every time I read cookies, I just get hungry. I want to stop what I'm doing. I want to get a chocolate chip cookie and a glass of milk and just take myself into another place. But we're going to go on. Other information, log file information, is automatically reported by your browser. So your browser is reporting information. Each time you make a request to access, i.e. visit a web page or app, it can also be provided when the content of the web page or app is downloaded to your browser or device. So certain log file information may be collected. Cookie information may be collected. Information you provide them directly, such as your username, password, and email address, may be collected. Profile information that you provide on your user profile, example, first and last name, picture, phone number. And according to their policy, this information allows us to help you or others be found on Instagram. User content, again, photos, comments, or other materials that you post to the service. And finally, communications between you and Instagram. For example, we may send you service-related emails. Example, account verification, changes, updates to features of the service, technical and security notices. So you have that, and it says, note, you may not opt out of service-related emails. So if they send you a service-related email, that's the way it goes. If you respond, you got a communication, there it is. When you use our service, our servers automatically record certain log file information. Okay, so let's talk about this, including your web request, internet protocol address. Anybody know what that is? IP address is what we call it. Your browser type, your referring page, exiting pages, and URLs, number of clicks, and how you interact with links on the service, domain names, landing pages, pages viewed, and other such information. We may also collect similar information from emails sent to our users, which then help us track which emails are opened and which links are clicked by recipients. So, long story short, you see a lot of stuff is exchanged in the course of using the Instagram application on your cell phone, your smartphone, or your tablet, wherever you're using it. So you just have to be aware, and this is every website. This is not just Instagram. This is Facebook, YouTube, the things you're posting online. This is important if you're a parent. The things you post online, just assume somebody is gathering, compiling it. Assume that somebody's going to warehouse it. Assume that several companies are going to get together and share the data and build this big profile. I'm not saying Instagram is, because I don't know, but just be aware that this is, just use your head. Okay, the more of a complete profile somebody can get on you, the better it is for their marketing purposes and for whatever other purposes. Could be skip tracing, I don't know. But just something for you guys all to keep in mind there. So that's kind of the stuff they collect. There's a section here, section 2, and there's other stuff, metadata, I skipped that. Metadata, it says user content, including a hashtag, geotag, so I think I touched on that at any rate. And device identifiers. When you use a mobile device like a tablet or phone to access our service, we may access, collect, monitor, store on your device, and or remotely store on one or more device identifiers. Device identifiers are small data files or similar data structures stored on or associated with your mobile device, which uniquely identify your mobile device. A device identifier may be data stored in connection with the device hardware, data stored in connection with the device's operating system or other software, or data sent to the device by Instagram. And it says a device identifier may deliver information to us or a third-party partner about how you browse and use the service, and may help us or others provide reports or personalized content and ads. Some features of the service may not function properly if use or availability of device identifiers is impaired or disabled. Isn't that fun stuff? I told you were going to be wide awake, just loving this, hanging on my every word. So anyway, point being, long story short, a lot of stuff is collected, shared, and used, okay? There's section 2, how do we use your information? Well, here's what they say. In addition to some of the specific uses of information we describe in this privacy policy, we may use information that we receive to help you efficiently access your information after you sign in, remember information so you will not have to re-enter it during your visit or the next time you visit the service. Those sound like positive benefits. Provide personalized content and information to you and others, which could include online ads and other forms of marketing, to provide, improve, test, and monitor the effectiveness of our service, develop and test new products and features, all sounds good, monitor metrics such as the total number of visitors, traffic, and demographic patterns, diagnose or fix technology problems, and automatically update the Instagram application on your device. Instagram or other users may run contests, special offers, or other events or events on the service. If you do not want to participate in an event, do not use the particular metadata, i.e. the hashtag or geotag associated with that event. Okay, what does that mean? I don't know. I have to read that about 3 times to understand what that means. Sharing of information. This is the big one. This is what most people are wanting to know. You get all this data. I know you use some of this internally in Section 2 to make this a better site, to run the site, all that, make the features better. Cool. But now what about sharing? Who gets it? Who gets to share my information? And it says here, we may share your user content. This is Section 3 of the privacy policy. As I mentioned, January 25th, 2017. We may share user content and your information, including but not limited to information from cookies, remember we talked about that, log files, device identifiers, location data, and usage data, with businesses that are legally part of the same group of companies that Instagram is part of, or that become part of that group, quote-unquote affiliates. So, and we know Facebook owns Instagram, that's important to keep in mind. Affiliates may use this information to help provide, understand, and improve the service, including by providing analytics, and affiliates own services, including by providing you with better and more relevant experiences. Sounds good. But these affiliates will honor the choices you make about who can see your photos. Next, we may also share your information as information from tools like cookies, log files, and device identifiers and location data with third-party organizations that help us provide the service to you. These are known as quote-unquote service providers. So your information may be shared with service providers in addition to affiliates. Our service providers will be given access to your information as is reasonably necessary to provide the service under reasonable confidentiality terms, okay? So apparently they will be bound by some sort of confidentiality contract. We don't know what that is. I don't see it spelled out here. Next, we may also share information such as your cookie data with third-party advertising partners. It doesn't explain what an advertising partner is. I guess you have to use your imagination. Third-party advertising partners. This information would allow third-party ad networks to, among other things, deliver targeted advertisements they believe will be of most interest to you. So you have information being shared with affiliates, service providers, and third-party ad networks. It says here also, we may remove parts of data. Now, when it says may, that in law, that means that they don't really have to. It means they might not, they could, they might not. So you don't know. I always assume it means they will, but that's just me. We may remove parts of data that can identify you and share anonymized data with other parties. We may also combine your information, remember I was talking about that, with other information in a way that is no longer associated with you and share that aggregated information, so aggregated data being put together, okay? So that's some of the issues. There are some questions here, some points on how it's stored and processed at any rate, but there's some information about children's privacy, not knowingly collecting. This is the COPA law, Child's Online Privacy Protection. Instagram does not knowingly collect or solicit information from anyone under the age of 13. Those kinds of things. So that's about it. I just wanted to, I know you guys are probably already snoozing and going to the cookie cabinet and trying to get some cookies and trying to shut my show down as quick as you can, so I don't blame you. At any rate, I want to thank you for listening. If you have a social media dispute, copyright issue, right of publicity, you need a technology attorney, who are you going to call? Attorney Steve. That's who. You can find me at attorneysteve.com, and there it is. Boom. Keeping it legal. Okay, so thanks a lot for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, feel free to share it on your social media networks, and we will talk again, okay? If you have anything you want to hear, put them in our comments box below, and tell us what else is bugging you from a legal perspective in the digital age, and we're happy to do some sleuthing for you, okay? Have a great day. We'll talk again.